Hello. This lesson was created by Mrs. Wood. She's a St. Tammany Parish Public School third grade teacher. We are so glad that you can join us. In this lesson, we are going to learn about central message and cause and effect of events. Today, we are going to use the story A Bad Case of the Stripes to help us with our learning targets, which are I can determine the central message, lesson, or moral and explain how it is conveyed through the key details in the text, and I can explain how characters' actions affect the order of events. A Bad Case of Stripes by David Shannon. Central message. The central message is a life lesson the author is trying to teach the reader. Some examples are honesty, teamwork, perseverance, kindness, sharing, acceptance, and bravery. These are all virtues we see every day all around us. Can you think of a couple of examples of the virtues of maybe honesty, teamwork, perseverance, kindness, sharing, acceptance, and bravery that you've seen? Thanks for sharing. Cause and effect. Cause, the reason why something happened. Effect, the results, what happened. Cause and effect contribute to the sequence of events. Signal words for you to listen to are because, since, so, as a result, if, then, therefore, due to. A Bad Case of Stripes by David Shannon. Camilla Cream loved lima beans, but she never ate them. All of her friends hated lima beans, and she wanted to fit in. Camilla was always worried about what other people thought of her. Today, she was fretting even more than usual. It was the first day of school, and she couldn't decide what to wear. There were so many people to impress. She tried on 42 outfits, but none seemed quite right. She put on a pretty red dress and looked in the mirror. Then she screamed. Her mother ran into the room, and she screamed too. "Oh, my heavens," she cried. "You're completely covered with stripes." This was certainly true. Camilla was striped from head to toe. She looked like a rainbow. Mrs. Cream felt Camilla's forehead. "Do you feel all right?" she asked. "I feel fine," Camilla answered, "but just look at me." "You get back into bed this instant," her mother ordered. "You're not going to school today." Camilla was relieved. She didn't want to miss the first day of school, but she was afraid of what the other kids would say, and she had no idea what to wear with those crazy stripes. That afternoon, Dr. Bumble came to examine Camilla. "Most extraordinary!" he exclaimed. "I've never seen anything like it. Are you having any coughing, sneezing, runny nose, aches, pains, chills, hot flashes, dizziness, drowsiness, shortness of breath, or uncontrolled twitching?" "No," Camilla told him. "I feel fine." "Well then," Dr. Bumble said, turning to Miss Cream, "I don't see any reason why she shouldn't go to school tomorrow. Here's some ointment that should help clear up those stripes in a few days. If it doesn't, you know where to reach me." And off he went. The next day was a disaster. Everyone at school laughed at Camilla. They called her Camilla Crayon and Night of the Living Lollipop. She tried her best to act as if everything were normal. But when the class said the Pledge of Allegiance, her stripes turned red, white, and blue, and she broke out in stars. The other kids thought this was great. One yelled out, "Let's see some purple polka dots." Sure enough, Camilla turned all purple polka dotty. Someone else shouted, "Checkerboard!" and a pattern of squares covered her skin. Soon everyone was calling out different shapes and colors, and poor Camilla was changing faster than you can change channels on a TV. That night, Mr. Harms, the school principal, called. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Cream," he said. "I'm going to have to ask you to keep Camilla home from school. She's just too much of a distraction, and I've been getting calls from other parents. They're afraid those stripes may be contagious." Camilla was so embarrassed. She couldn't believe that 2 days ago everyone liked her. Now nobody wanted to be in the same room with her. Her father tried to make her feel better. "Is there anything I can get you, sweetheart?" he asked. "No, thank you," sighed Camilla. What she really wanted was a nice plate of lima beans, but she had been laughed at enough for one day. Well, yes, I see," Dr. Bumble mumbled when Mrs. Cream phoned the next day. "I think I'd better bring in the specialist. We'll be right over." About an hour later, Dr. Bumble arrived with 4 people in long white coats. He introduced them to the Creams. "This is Dr. Group, Dr. Sponge, Dr. Cricket, and Dr. Young." Then the specialist went to work on Camilla. They squeezed and jabbed, tapped and tested. It was very uncomfortable. "Well, it's not the mumps," concluded Dr. Group. "Or the measles," said Dr. Sponge. "Definitely not chicken pox," put in Dr. Cricket. "Or sunburn," said Dr. Young. "Try these," said the specialist. They each handed her a bottle filled with different colored pills. "Take one of each before bed," said Dr. Group. Then they fled out the front door, followed by Dr. Bumble. That night, Camilla took her medicine. It was awful. When she woke up the next morning, she did feel different, but when she got dressed, her clothes didn't fit right. She looked in the mirror, and there, staring back at her, was a giant, multicolored pill with her face on it. Dr. Bumble rushed over as soon as Mrs. Cream called, but this time, instead of specialists, he brought the experts. Dr. Gourd and Mr. Mellon were the finest scientific minds in the land. Once again, Camilla was poked and prodded, looked at and listened to. The experts wrote down lots of numbers. Then they huddled together and whispered. Dr. Gourd finally spoke. "It might be a virus," he announced with authority. Suddenly, fuzzy little virus balls appeared all over Camilla. "Or possibly some form of bacteria," said Mr. Mellon. Out popped squiggly little bacteria tails. "Or it could be a fungus," added Dr. Gourd. Instantly, Camilla was covered with different colored fungus splotches. The experts looked at Camilla, then at each other. "We need to go over these numbers again back at the lab," Dr. Gourd explained. "We'll call you when we know something." But the experts didn't have a clue, much less a cure. By now, the TV news had found out about Camilla. Reporters from every channel were outside her house telling the story of the bizarre case of the incredible changing kid. Soon a huge crowd was camped out on the front lawn. The Creams were swamped with all kinds of remedies from psychologists, allergists, herbalists, nutritionalists, psychics, an old medicine man, a guru, and even a veterinarian. Each so-called cure only added to poor Camilla's strange appearance, until it was hard to even recognize her. She sprouted roots and berries and crystals and feathers and a long furry tail, but nothing worked. One day, a woman who called herself an environmental therapist claimed she could cure Camilla. "Close your eyes," she said. "Breathe deeply and become one with your room." "I wish you hadn't said that," Camilla groaned. Slowly, she started to melt into the walls of her room. Her bed became her mouth, her nose was a dresser, and 2 paintings were her eyes. The therapist screamed and ran from the house. "What are we going to do?" cried Mrs. Cream. "It just keeps getting worse and worse." She began to sob. At that moment, Mr. Cream heard a quiet little knock at the front door. He opened it, and there stood an old woman who was just as plump and sweet as a strawberry. "Excuse me," she said brightly, "but I think I can help." She went into Camilla's room and looked around. "My goodness," she said with a shake of her head. "What we have here is a bad case of stripes. One of the worst I've ever seen." She pulled a container of small green beans from her bag. "Here," she said, "these might do the trick." "Are those magic beans?" asked Mrs. Cream. "Oh my, no," replied the kind old woman. "There's no such thing. These are just plain old lima beans. I bet you'd like some, wouldn't you?" she asked Camilla. Camilla wanted a big, heaping plateful of lima beans more than just about anything, but she was still afraid to admit it. "Yuck," she said. "No one likes lima beans, especially me." "Oh dear," the old woman said sadly. "I guess I was wrong about you." She put the beans back in her bag and started toward the door. Camilla watched the old woman walk away. Those beans would taste so good, and being laughed at for eating them was nothing compared to what she'd been going through. She finally couldn't stand it. "Wait," she cried. "The truth is, I really love lima beans." "I thought so," the old woman said with a smile. She took a handful of beans and popped them into Camilla's mouth. "Mmm," said Camilla. Suddenly, the branches, feathers, and squiggly tails began to disappear. Then the whole room swirled around. When it stopped, there stood Camilla, and everything was back to normal. "I'm cured," she shouted. "Yes," said the old woman. "I knew the real you was in there somewhere." She patted Camilla on the head, then she went outside and vanished into the crowd. Afterward, Camilla wasn't quite the same. Some of the kids at school said she was weird, but she didn't care a bit. She ate all the lima beans she wanted, and she never had even a touch of stripes again. I hope you enjoyed the book as much as I did. Here is a cause and effect chart that Miss Wood's students have used in class. The students like to use the word "so" to show how the events are connected. Miss Wood did the first one for you. Camilla worried what the other kids thought of her, so she would not eat lima beans even though she loved them. The next two events, we either left the cause or the effect blank shown by a question mark. Can you find the missing information? Parents, your students can go back and look at the video again and go back to the text to see what the cause or the effect was for each one of the events. When learning about central message, here are some discussion questions to think about or talk about with someone in your family. First, how did this sequence of events lead to changes in the character? Second, what lesson can we learn from the events in this story? And third, what evidence in the story supports your answer? Here are more books that teach central message. Do you see any of your favorites? You can use the discussion questions from earlier in this video with any one of these books to continue learning about central message. Here are more books that teach cause and effect. You can use the cause and effect chart from earlier in this video with these books to continue learning more about cause and effect. Thank you for watching as we learned about central message and the order of events. You did a great job. Remember to keep watching other videos like this one so we can all keep learning together. You can watch lessons daily on STPPS TV or on our website at stpsb.org. See you again soon. And next is our truck driver cheer. Miss Wood students love the truck driver cheer, so we're going to give all of you guys the truck driver cheer. Okay, guys, here's the truck driver cheer on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Honk, honk. Good job, good buddies. Bye.
Welcome to Fairview Riverside State Park, home to the Otis House Museum and 99 acres of recreational land where you can hike, fish, camp, and much more.
The historic Otis House Museum, built not long after the Civil War, represents generations of folks who call St. Tammany Parish home. It was once the site of a thriving timber industry and a sawmill along the Tchefuncte River. It offers a glimpse into how the surrounding areas and the South as a whole came to be. Upon the conclusion of the Civil War, William J. moved to St. Tammany Parish with the intention of starting a lumber company. His original share of 400 acres soon grew to over 30,000 acres of timberland.
So it's the reconstruction period. Everything is being rebuilt. Timber industry was a huge industry, and there was a huge impact in the area simply by the processing of the lumber right here on the Tchefuncte River.
As Jay found success, he built a classic Victorian-era style home.
The architecture is considered Queen Anne, which was a popular architecture in the late Victorian era. Queen Anne architecture would feature porches that went almost all the way around the house, as the porch that we're sitting on. There was no electricity in those days, so the houses were designed to self-cool. Having a porch shades the air before it enters the house. Typically there would be shade trees all around the house, which is also helping to cool the air before it enters the house. This house faces the river. There's usually a breeze that comes in off of the waterway, so it flushes the hot air out, brings cooler air into the house for the family.
The house serves as a time capsule with historic furniture and artifacts spanning over 70 years.
Fire extinguishers date to the 1870s. They're called Hayward hand grenades. Well, these Hayward hand grenades are glass balls filled with a liquid. It's a chemical. It's carbon tetrachloride. So this carbon tetrachloride absorbs oxygen. As you go through the house, you get a timeline of not just the furnishings and the history that go behind it, but it's a timeline of how furniture changed, how cooking changed.
Frank Otis, the last owner of the Otis House, donated the house and 99 acres to the state of Louisiana, hoping to establish a park for people to enjoy the natural beauty of the area.
Fairview Riverside State Park showcases the unique and natural assets Louisiana has to offer, where you can take a walk through 30 acres of swampland or take a stroll down a boardwalk that fronts the Tchefuncte River. Since the park is framed by water, fishing is a common activity visitors indulge in. With the easy access to waterways, the Tchefuncte River is used for many water sports, such as boating, jet skiing, and much more. And after a long day of all these diverse activities this park has to offer, the park is equipped for visitors to camp the night.
Thank you for joining us on our visit to the aesthetically pleasing Fairview Riverside State Park. In the end, one can see that we don't need to look far for beautiful scenery because it's right here in our own backyard.
Hello, my name is Brian Alvis, and I'm a music teacher in St. Tammany Parish. And this is my naughty little kitty cat. Today, I'm going to teach you a song called The Naughty Kitty Cat. But before we do that, we're going to get our voices warmed up. So to begin, I'd like you to either sit or stand, up to you, but stand nice and tall or sit nice and tall. I'm going to make a sound, and then when I point to you, I want you to repeat it back to me. Boop. voices are warmed up. Remember, you can either sit or stand. I'm going to teach you this song in small parts, 2 small chunks. So remember to watch for when it's my turn and when it's your turn. Naughty kitty cat, you are very fat. You have butter on your whiskers, naughty kitty cat. Alright, that's the whole song. I'm going to sing the entire song, just me, and then the second time, I want to listen to you sing the song. Naughty kitty cat, you are very fat. You have butter on your whiskers, naughty kitty cat. Now you. Very nice singing. Now, there's one more little part that we're going to add in. I want you to listen this time while I sing and count how many pauses there are in the song. I'll give you a hint. There's one at the end. So count the number of pauses in the song. And there's a special little sound we're going to put in those pauses. Naughty kitty cat, you are very fat. You have butter on your whiskers, naughty kitty cat. So including that one pause at the end, how many total pauses did you count? Hopefully you said 3. Well, in those 3 pauses, we're going to add a little kitty cat meow. You can go ahead and meow with me, or sing with me, or sing and meow with me. Here we go, naughty kitty cat, meow. You are very fat, meow. You have butter on your whiskers, naughty kitty cat, meow. Nice job. So remember, this song is called the Naughty Kitty Cat song, and this last time through, feel free to get up, move around, sing, dance. If you have a cat of your own, maybe invite them over and sing this song to them. 1, 2, here we go, naughty kitty cat, meow. You are very fat, meow. You have butter on your whiskers, naughty kitty cat, meow. Thanks for joining me today and learning the song Naughty Kitty Cat. Please make sure you tune in again, keep on learning, and I'll be back with more music lessons next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, welcome back. Can you believe it's already April? Wow. And do you know what is so special about April? Yes, it is spring, but it is also Poetry Month. Now, what is a poem? A poem is a type of writing that has a certain rhythm to it. You know when we write and we stop or pause at commas or periods? Well, in poetry, we usually stop at the end of the line, where there may not be a period. There are so many different types of poetry, and today we're going to learn to write an acrostic poem. Because we've been doing so many science experiments and writing using the sun, I thought, I'm going to write an acrostic poem about the sun. The first thing I need to do is write the word sun, because that's my topic. And I'm going to write it vertically. I'll explain why in a moment. I am now going to use the letters in the word sun to describe the sun. How could I describe the sun?
Using the letter S. It is super hot. The next letter in the word sun is U. What can I say about the sun that begins with U? Oh yes, it's unbelievably bright. Bright. You saw me. I had to put on the sunglasses the other day when we went outside. The last letter I need to use is N. So I need to again think of something that describes the sun using the letter N. Oh yeah, it's not seen at night. I have now made my acrostic poem about the sun. Super hot, unbelievably bright, not seen at night. I can't wait to see and hear your acrostic poem. I wonder what topic you are going to write about.
That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow when we learn how to write a haiku poem. Bye!
Welcome back. I am Mrs. Singleton, 5th grade teacher here in St. Tammany Parish in one of the public schools. So we are back together. Thank you for tuning in. We're back together talking about multiplying whole numbers. Last time we were together, we looked at multiplying whole numbers, but we looked at multiplying whole numbers using the standard algorithm. Today, we are going to look at multiplying whole numbers using the area model. And again, before we get started, please get comfortable. I want you to enjoy this. I want you to be in the most comfortable place that you can be in as we begin to work. And keep this in mind as we're going through this particular method, guys and girls. As I mentioned to you before, there are so many avenues when it comes to math. There are so many avenues that you can use to get to the right answer. Choose what method works best for you. Again, please make sure you do whatever it is your teacher tells you. Thank you. But please, I also want you to keep in mind, find a way that works best for you. All right, so again, last time we looked at the standard algorithm. Most people are comfortable with the standard algorithm because that's something that you use over and over and over again. All right, today we are going to look at the area model. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Here we go. So the area model. All right, the area model for multiplication starts off as a rectangle. All right, so here's my rectangle. All right, so what am I going to do with this rectangle, Mrs. Singleton? Well, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and break down my first factor. How do I know it's a factor, Mrs. Singleton? Because we're dealing with multiplication. And the parts to a multiplication, in this case, expression, we have a factor times a factor that's going to give us an overall product. Remember, parts to a multiplication equation, factor times a factor gives us a product. Thank you. All right, so let's look at this. We're going to take 348, our first factor, and we're going to break it down based on the digit value. All right, so this 3 is in the what place? Thank you, hundreds place. All right, so that 3 that's in the hundreds place represents 300. This 4 is in the, thank you, tens place. So that gives us, that represents 40. And then we have 8 that's in the, you guessed it, ones place. All right, so I have it broken down here based on the value of each digit within the number. From here, I'm going to go ahead and draw my lines. All right, and right above my lines, I'm just going to put my addition signs. All right, so 348, we now have this broken down according to the digits value or in expanded form. All right, so I know you're familiar with that. All right, and that takes care of our first factor. We're not quite ready to multiply just yet. Stay with me. All right, so now we need to look at our second factor, 24. All right, and we need to break this factor, our second factor down. We need to break our second factor down by the value of each digit. All right, so this 2 is in the, thank you, tens place, so that represents 20. This 4 is in the ones place, yep. All right, and that's just 4. And what I like about the area model, guys and girls, what it does for us, and I don't know if you've realized this, but one of the things I love about using the area model is that as I'm going through it and I'm thinking, okay, what's the value of this digit? What's the value of this digit? It's actually, believe it or not, all right, it's actually refreshing another skill that you worked on at the beginning of this school year. So thank you, area model. Here we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and draw our line to separate here. Here we go. All right, so now it's time for us to multiply. Something else I like about the area model, guys and girls, is that it has zeros. Typically, when it comes to multiplying, students are a little hesitant. They're a little intimidated, especially when they move into multiplying 3-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. But they're most comfortable. They feel a whole lot better when they see a 0 in there. All right, because we know because they're most comfortable with multiplying using zeros. All right, so that's one thing that I like about the area model. Here we go, so let's multiply. All right, what do we have here? We have 300 times 20, which is going to give us 6,000. All right, here we have 40 times 20, which is going to give us 800. Here we have 8 times 20, which is going to give us 160. All right, so what do I do now, Mrs. Singleton? I know 300 times 20, 6,000, 40 times 20, 800, 8 times 20, 160. Well, what I'm going to do is, guys, because I'm going to take each of those products, all right, and I'm going to add them together. And how do I know that they're products? Because I had to multiply each of those. So we know a factor times a factor gives us a, yes, product. So I'm going to move over here and I'm going to take these 3 products, and I'm going to add them together. So I have 6,000 plus 800 plus 160. All right, here we go. When I begin to add it up, make sure I line everything up nice and neat. What do I get here? 6,960. With the area model, once I get the total of these products here, I'm going to come out to the side and write it here. 6,960. Why? Because when I add 6,000, when I take 6,000, add it to 800, and then add it to 160, I get 6,960. If you remember from our last video when we were talking about the standard algorithm, when we multiply whole numbers, we have a factor times a factor that gives us an overall product. But before we can get to that overall product, we have to get to our absolutely partial products, all right? 6,960 represents one of our partial products. Now let's move on to the second part of our equation. 300 times 4 gives us 1,200. 40 times 4 gives us 160. And then 8 times 4 gives us, basic fact, yes sir and ma'am, 32. What am I going to do here, Mrs. Singleton? Same thing I did here when I multiplied 300. When I multiplied 340 and 8 by 20, I'm going to come over here to the side, all right, and I'm going to write it out clearly and make sure I line everything up because I want to make sure that I add that everything is in its place, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and add these up, and I get a total of 1,392. What am I going to do here? Go ahead and fill this in here, 1,392. Ta-da! What do I have? Partial products. Remember, before we can get to our overall product, when we're multiplying whole numbers, we have to get to our partial products. In this case, we have 6,960 and 1,392. Now, let me share this with you. One of the most common mistakes students make when they're using the area model is that they get the first partial product and the second partial product, and they say, okay, I'm finished. All right. Well, we're not finished because remember, these are just our partial products. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, yes, Mrs. Singleton, if I add them together, I'll get the overall product, but those two pieces are still apart. I would agree with you and say, yes, you were absolutely right. But it's our job as teachers to make sure that you understand this process for you to understand how we get to the overall product. All right. So if you think that your teachers are just making you write things down just for the sake of writing things down, I promise that it's not the case. All right. We just want to make sure that you know the process. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and do that. Let's take 6,960 and we're going to add 1,392 to it because we want to get the overall product. All right. Plus 2 gives us 2. 6 plus 9 gives us 15. Write our 5, carry our 1. 9 plus 3 gives us 12. Thank you. Add our 1. That gives us 13. All right. 6 plus 1 gives us 7. Add 1 more. That gives us 8. So what is my overall product here, Mrs. Singleton? 8,352. Whew. All right. So what do you think? I'm hoping that you, if this is not your favorite method, or if you were just introduced to this, that you find something that you like about it. Again, this is the area model. How did I work this area model? Well, first I had to draw my rectangle, and then I break everything down, both of my factors down by the digits value. The digit within each factor holds a value, and that's what I did to break it down, or use expanded form. All right, I know you're familiar with that term. All right, I go through and I multiply each. All right, I multiply my first factor times 20, and then my first factor times 4. All right, I get my individual products, add those together, and that's going to give me my partial product for each. And then I take those partial products, add those two together to get my overall product. And there we have it, guys and girls, our overall product for our area model. Woo! All right, awesome. I hope you feel great. Remember, I'm working through this with you. We're working through this with you. Feel free to replay this video, pause it in certain areas if you want to try it by yourself. I look forward to working with you. Had a great time with you today. I look forward to working with you in the future. Please be sure to check out our other videos at STPPS TV or on our website at stpsb.org. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to working with you soon. Happy learning.
Gonzalez here today to show you another workout that you can do at home with anyone in your household. That's right, you can do this workout in the morning, you can do it after lunch, you can do it in the evening, you can do it twice in the morning, twice in the afternoon. You You can do it whenever you would like, as long as you're doing it with someone in your household, staying safe. So, all right, everybody jog in place while I'm talking. We're going to get warmed up. As we're doing the exercise, I'll explain to you what muscles are being worked. Some of them you may already know. So, I'm going to demonstrate the exercise. Then when I'm done demonstrating, we're going to do the exercise together for 1 minute. Then you're going to rest while I'm demonstrating the next exercise. And we're going to do that exercise for 1 minute. All right. How's everyone feeling today? We're ready to go? Woohoo! I'm excited. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. All right. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the first exercise. Then you're going to join in with me, and we're going to do it together for 1 full minute. Woo, look at that. Coach Gonzalez is already getting out of breath. That means my heart rate is going up because I'm talking and jogging in place. Woohoo, but I know when I'm done with this workout, just as you are going to be feeling accomplished with me. All right, here we go. First exercise is 2 squat jumps. Squat jump, then you're going to do a dump walk. Then you're going to squat jump, and duck walk back. Now, some of you can duck walk a little lower than others. We're working the quad muscles. All right, 1 minute together, and here we go. Okay, squat jump. I'm going to go a little lower. Duck walk, squat jump, duck walk. So, just pick a spot on the ground that you're going to duck walk to and back. So, squat jump, duck walk. We are working our quads. I'm going to stay a little higher this time just so you can see the difference. Okay, that's working the quadriceps. That's these big muscles in the legs. Squat jump, duck walk. It's called a duck walk or a waddle. You might hear certain exercises called different things by different instructors. It all depends. Woo! How are we feeling? Yeah! We're getting excited, right? Getting that body warmed up. Oh, there's that timer. Thank goodness you get to rest while I show you the next exercise. Next exercise is going to work on the chest. So, it's going to be a power push-up, and if that's too hard, you can do a regular push-up, or you can do a push-up on your knees. So, a power push-up is going to be a push-up with a little hop in it. Okay, if that's too much, you go to your knees. You can still do the hop, or if you don't want to take the hop out and just do a push-up, perfect. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders. All right, I don't want us to lose our heart rates up there. I want it to keep going, so we're going to set it for 1 minute. Join in as soon as you're ready. Okay, I'm going to try a couple on my toes. Power push-ups. Now, I'm going to keep the power in there, but I'm going to come to my knees. Now, it's okay if you're only a tiny bit off the ground. That is fine. You are still working. Now, you can just do a regular push-up. Take the hop up all together. Just make sure that your arms are shoulder width apart and you have your fingers spread apart and your chest is coming down to the ground. Make sure that your belly is not sinking down. That's incorrect. It's up. Everything is straight. You want to look forward like you're looking down the bridge of your nose. All right, I'm going to drop to my knees. Show you can do them on your knees without the jump. And of course, for my advanced people, with the jump right there. All right, but there's 1 minute, so we are going to move on. You rest. I'm going to demonstrate the next exercise. 5 dips and then a crab walk. That's going to work on the triceps, which is the back of the arm right here. The front of the arm is the bicep. So, here we go. Fingertips facing towards your heels. You're going to push that butt up and you're going to dip. So you're bending at the elbows. Your elbows are pointing towards the opposite wall as your fingertips. And you're bending down and up. Make sure they're not flaring out. You tuck them in, okay? Then you do the crab walk. Keeping that butt up high. Do 5 dips and back. So I'm going to set the timer. We're going to do this together for 1 minute. So it's going to be 5 dips, 4, 5, then you're going to crab walk. So we're crab walking forward and back. Now if this is too hard, you can sit down and just bend 90 degrees in the elbows and just lean back on your hands so you're working the back of the arms. But you're going to have to push yourself up for the crab walk. Then you can sit down and you can do the dips. These are working those triceps, the back of the arm. So push up. Now this time I'm going to stay up. I'm going to do those dips right here in the tabletop position. There's lots of names for all different exercises. If you're getting tired, just take a break when you need it. So just try not to stop. Oh, there's that timer, so you get about a 10-second rest while I'm demonstrating the next one. The next one is a fun one because you're moving around in a circle and it's something you're probably very familiar with from PE class, a jumping jack. But I'm doing a jumping jack with a 360, which means, that's right, it's in a circle. So, jumping jack in a circular motion. Whew, how fun is that? 1 minute. Join in when you're ready. Oh, this feels good. We can go in the other direction. Oh, this feels awesome. I love to exercise. I'm so glad you're doing this with me today. You should start sweating. I feel the sweat dripping down my back already. Woo! Yeah! Happy to have you here. I got my kids' bop music in the background, but you can play whatever music you like in your house. You can play it loud while you're exercising. You can turn your music up and just follow along with me. You don't have to hear me. Just follow me. How awesome is that? Keep going. Of course, I'm not going in a circle the whole time because I want to make sure I'm watching you. That's right. Oh, there it is. Rest for about 10 seconds while I'll show you the next exercise. The next is the reverse plank leg lifts. That is going to work the hamstrings. Right here, the back of the legs. If you're a runner or if you walk a lot, those might be a little tight, but I'll show you an alternative. We can go this way this time. Okay, so reverse plank, leg lift. Just like that, I'm going to set the timer. We're going to go together for 1 minute. Okay. Oh, keep smiling. Come on. Now, if it's getting a little hard, you can come in the tabletop position and still lift those legs up. You're still working the hamstrings and you're working the back of the body, including the buttocks. There is nothing wrong with working your entire body. It's a machine. It needs to be worked every day. And it will help you make better grades if you actually exercise and move. You know, this is only 10 minutes out of your entire day. How hard is it to give up 10 minutes out of your day to do something that is good for you? And I will have to show you some tips about good fuel for your body. We'll work on that another day when we have more time. Oh, there's that 1 minute. Thank goodness. Oh, Coach Gonzalez is getting tired, but I'm going to keep going. And you try to keep going with me. Woo-hoo, we got this together. Okay, we have plank jacks. Now that's going to work on those tummies, on those abs, because we're in the plank position. Now I'm just going to go right into it for 1 minute because I know y'all done these before. So it's right here. The hands are staying right underneath the shoulders. And just the legs are doing jumping jacks. Except we're just doing them on the ground. working our abs while we're doing the jumping jacks. Now if you get a little tired, you can always stand up, catch your breath, and go drop back down, maybe on the other side. Oh, now, once you master these, you're going to say, oh, I can't believe I thought that was hard. Because every time you do some type of exercise for the first few times, it's hard. But if you train and keep going, it gets easier. That's what happens when you run. That's what happens when you walk distances. With any sport, practice makes you better. Just like in math. The more you practice the problems, the better you get. Same with reading. The more you read, the easier it is, right? That is correct. Oh, my goodness, time is up. All right, we have V-ups. You go ahead and take that 10-minute break while I demonstrate the V-ups, and then we're going to work for 1 minute together. Okay. Whew, Coach Gonzalez is getting very tired. I hope you're not as tired as me. So, V-ups are a little advanced. So, you're going to V-up, touch your toes. All right? That may be hard, but I'm going to show you an easier way. Let me set the timer. We got that for 1 minute. I have sweat dripping down my face. If it's too hard, you can just bring the legs up to touch. If that's too hard, you can just reach up and touch your toes. There's always an option so that you can keep going. Now those of you that can do this, look, I'm not perfect either. I can't do all of them. That's right. So I'm going to make this my goal to get better at these. This is a very hard exercise for me. Now if you want, you can put your legs up and bring your feet to your toes. And it is okay if you are sweating. If you're getting soaking wet, that's actually good. That's your body's way of cooling itself off. It's actually not good if you're not sweating and you feel like you're totally out of breath. Because it means your body's not cooling itself off. And you don't have to see the sweat to be sweating. As long as you know that you're working hard. Okay, y'all can rest now while I'm showing you the next exercise. Okay, high kicks. Oh, this is going to be a fun one for 1 minute. This goes out to all my cheerleaders out there. Woo-hoo! And my gymnasts. 1 minute right here. Keep smiling, yeah. You know, if you're a gymnast or a cheerleader, you have to smile in every routine, right? So, for my cheerleaders that are working out with me, keep that smile going. Pretend like you're at a game and you're cheering on the fans for your favorite team. That's right. Keep going. We are almost done. I hope y'all get your parents or your brother or your sister or whoever's living in your household to do these exercises with you. If you're getting tired, just take the hop out and keep doing the toe touch. It's really high kicks, same as toe touch, right? Similar. You can use the hands or not use the hands. Get fancy with it. All right, there's that 1 minute. You get to rest while I demonstrate the shuffle, shuffle, jump. This is one of my favorites, okay? So, shuffle, shuffle, jump. Shuffle, shuffle, jump. That's again working those quadriceps. And it's working on agility and speed. So let me set that timer for 1 minute. And here we go. Shuffle, shuffle, jump. Shuffle, shuffle, jump. You want to get fancy with it? Shuffle, shuffle, jump, jump. Shuffle, shuffle, jump, jump. Or you could do shuffle, shuffle, turn, jump. Shuffle, shuffle, turn, jump. Do whatever you need to do to make it interesting and fun for you. So, what's fun for me may not be fun for you. But if you want to make something that's moving in your exercise routine, feel free to do it. Maybe when you see your PE teacher, you can show them something you invented. So, shuffle, shuffle, jump. Shuffle, shuffle, jump. Oh, how are we doing out there? And guess what? You made it. You made it to the end. And this one is a little easier. Bring your heart rate down a little bit. Cool you off before you leave me. So this is going to be a toe touch for 1 minute. Last time was high kicks and we were touching the toes. This time is bending down, toe touch. That's it for 1 minute. And whew, we got this. Now, I'm so proud of all of you that decided to do an exercise routine with me today or any time. It may be 5 in the morning for you. It might be 7 p.m. at night if you're watching this at any time, or you could be watching it right on the television. And I am so proud of each and every one of you that are exercising during this time that we're spending alone. Use this time to reflect on you. What do you want to get better at? What can you work on that is safe? Is it something pertaining to exercise? Is it something in school? Oh, there's our 1 minute. You need to work on what's best for you to work on. I know that I need to work on those VOs, and I probably need to practice this exercise routine so it becomes easy.